Okay, we're here live from one of my most favorite places in the entire world, this farm room in my house. And we are going to, very exciting time, second to last daf in the entire Masechta of Maseches Taanis. It's been a lot of work, and we're going to pick it up from where we left off on the second line, Chav Tesam at Aleph and Taanis. Here we go. B'Tisha B'Av Nigra Avosenu Shelo Yikonsu Le'eretz Milan Alon. On the ninth of Av, it was decreed on our ancestors that they're not going to enter into Israel. How do they know this? The pasuk says, "V'hi b'chodesh harishon b'shnas hashniya b'echad l'chodesh ukma Mishkan." Was on the first of it was on the chodesh harishon, the first month. On the second year, on the first of the month, that's when the Mishkan was established. From our Mar, and we have a tradition. Shona Rishoina, some Moshe, some Mishkan, Shniya Hikim, Moshe, some Mishkan. The first year, Moshe set up the Mishkan. He made the Mishkan. Second year, he set it up. V'shalach Meraglim, and that's when they sent in the spies. Uksiv in the pasuk says, "V'yibishna Hashem b'chodesh Hasheni." Was on the second year, in the second month, aka Iyar. Be'esrim b'chodesh, on the 20th of the month. Now ala Mishkan, the cloud went up from on the Mishkan. Ha'idus of the testimony. Uksiv in the pasuk says, "Vismar Hashem derech shloishes yamim." They traveled from the mountain of Hashem for 3 days. So now we're at the 22nd, 2021, 22. Rabbi Chama bar Chanina, Rabbi Chama, the son of Chanina, says, Oiso ayoim, soru machir Hashem. That way they swayed from Hashem. Ksiv in the pasuk says, Vesafsuf ashir b'kiubo. The troublemakers that were among them, Hitavu taiva, they had desires, Veshu v'div chugam b'nei Yisrael, and they returned and they cried. Goymer, etc. The pasuk continues. Uksiv and the pasuk says, "Ad chodesh yamim." It was a month. Tavlu esrin v'tartim b'siva. And if you add a month, so then you get the 23rd of Sivan, Nisan, Iyar, Sivan. We were dealing with before the 22nd of Iyar. Now we're going to be at the 22nd of Sivan a month later. Uksiv. And the pasuk says, this is talking about the Miriam spoke bad about Moshe, and she got saras, leprosy, and she had to remain outside of the camp. Pasuk says about this, V'tizkar Miriam Shivas Yamim was for 7 days. Add 7 to the Esrin V'tartin to the 22 that we just had. The Havilu Esrin V'tisha B'Sivan comes out as on the 29th of Sivan. Ksiv and the pasuk says, "Shachar Hanoshim, you shall send people." Spies V'tanim Be'esrin V'tisha B'Sivan Shalach Moshe Meraglim. It was on the 29th of Sivan. That's when Moshe sent the spies. Ksiv and the pasuk says, "V'yeshuvu Mitura Aretz Mikitzar B'Ayim Yom." That they returned after 40 days. As the Gemara, Haniyar B'Im Yoim Nechichad Havi, but these 40 days it's lacking one. As Rashi explains, it's not going to be good. We went from the 2nd of Sivan to the 29th of Tammuz. That's 31. And now it comes out that it's going to be on the 8th of Av. It's going to be 39. But we want the 8th of Av to be 40. Rabbi Abai says, Tammuz Dahi Shasimilu. No, Tammuz during that time was really filled. Complete month, and then the numbers add up, and it's all good. The pasuk says, "Karei moed lishvur b'char." Uksiv, and the pasuk says, "V'tishav kol leidav yitnu es koilam." They all gave their voice, "V'yiv koam b'leilahu," and they cried at that night. Number Rabbo Amar Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, that time Tisha B'Av Hayo was the 9th of Av. Amar lehem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem said, "Tem bachisim b'chiyah shalchinam." You cried a cry for nothing for the spies. V'ani kovei lachem b'chiyah l'doros, and I'm going to establish for you cries for many generations. Chorov bias b'rishoina. How do you know that the first base of Mikdash was destroyed? Then the Bachet Minolan. How do you know Dichsiv the pasuk v'chodesh mishi b'shivcha chodesh was on the 7th of the month? This is actually talking about the 5th month, but the 7th of the month, Ishnas Teisha Asara. This is going to be the year that is going to be Teisha Asara 19 in the ruling of the Melech Nebuchadnezzar, Melech Bavel, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Bavel. But Nebuchadnezzar came Rabbi Tzabachim, the chief that would kill people. Eved Melech Bavel, he was a servant to the king of Bavel, Yushalayim. V'Yisra for Hashem, and that's when they burnt the base of Mikdash Uksiv. And the pasuk says, "B'chodesh Misha on the 5th month, Be'asur l'chodesh on the 10th of the month, Yishnas Teisha Asara." This is going to be the 19th for the Melech Nebuchadnezzar, for the years for the king Nebuchadnezzar. Melech Bavel for the king of Bavel. Banim Nebuchadnezzar Rabbah Techaim. Omar. By the way, we just said it was on the 10th of the month. But continuing, Amal of Neamelech, Bava B'Yushalayim, V'Tanya, we have a Baisi of Sharloim Rishiva, Shari Kvar Nemar Beser, Yev Sharloim Beser, Shari Kvar Nemar Rishiva. You can't say the 10th because we said the 7th. You can't say the 7th because we said from the 10th. Which one is it? We have two contradictory psukim. Was it destroyed on the 7th or the 10th? Okay, so how is it so? Boy, it was actually on the 7th. That's when they entered into the base of Mikdash and they ate and they messed it up. Shvi Shmini, the 7th and the 8th. V'tisha samach l'chashicha hatzisu on the 9th near the time of dark. That's when they set the fire, boasa or the fire. Vayadol v'chaloi kol yom kulu, and it remained lit the entire day. Shneimar as the pasuk says, "Oy lanu." Kipano ayoim ki not to sali erev. Ahinu damnor Rabbi Yochanan. That's what Rabbi Yochanan means when he says Almala Yisib Oisador. If I was not in that generation, lo kavisiv elabe asir, I would have only established it on the 10th of Av. Because that's when the majority of the Heichal was in fact burnt. But the rabbis hold no, the beginning of the calamities is better. That's why they do it on the 9th. Bishniya Minal. And how do we know by the second base of Mikdash that it was also destroyed on the 9th of Avditanya? Because we have a Bryce Megaglun Zachus Lioim Zachai V'choival Lioim Chayiv, that we roll over the merits for a day that is innocent, and we obligate that it's going to be a detriment for a day that is obligated. In other words, this is a concept. Whatever, it's a concept that the good things are going to happen to good people. It's going to be caused from heaven that good things are going to happen. And the same thing with the day. A good day, it's going to be caused from Shamayim, from heaven, that good things are going to happen on that day. And a bad day, bad things are going to be caused. So therefore, on the 9th of Av, since we already had the destruction of the first base of Mikdash, and so too we knew that there was going to be another catastrophe, calamity during that time, aka the destruction of the second base of Mikdash. The Gemara continues and says, ay, 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 ay. Yomru, they said, Kishachar base of Mikdash b'Rishon Moisem Yom Novem Tisha B'Av Ayo. When the base of Mikdash was destroyed that day, was the eve of Tisha B'Av. It means it was the nighttime of Tisha B'Av. Umoitzi Shabbos Hayo, and it was after Shabbos. It was after her Shabbos, aka Sunday. Umoitzi Shvius, it was after Shvius, aka the 8th year. After the Shemitah year, Haisa, it was Mishmar Social Yehoiriv, Haisa, and it was the watch of Yehoiriv. V'Alivium Hayoimim Shiravoim, the Mount Duchram, and the Livium, they were singing the songs and they were standing on their platform. Mashir Hayoimim, what would they say? That's what they speak. They weren't even able to say Yatzmisam watch it. Bonachrim, Lakivshum, until they came and conquered it. And similarly, on the second one, when the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed the second time, Nilchad the Beitar Gemara, the Beitar was conquered. That is a tradition. Nechosha Ha'ir, that the city was plowed. Tanya, we have a Bryce. The Kishachar Tun was Rosh Hashanah. Rabbi Shema, Rabbi Gamliel the Hadigo. When Turnipus, the wicked one, when he destroyed the Heichel, the base of Mikdash, it was decreed on Rabbi Gamliel that he was going to die. One master came, Ba'amad Bebayis. Hamidrash, and he stood in the base of Midrash, V'amar, and he said, Balachoitim. Two explanations. Either this means someone who's at a high level, or the leader of the generation. Misbakesh, Balachoitim, Misbakesh. He said, we're looking for this leader to kill him. He said it as a hint so that they wouldn't recognize him. Shama Rabbi Gamliel Ozil Toshim and Ayu. Rabbi Gamliel heard this, he went and he hid from them. Ozil the master came Lagabe to him, Bitsin, he came to him privately. Amalei, and he told him, Matzilin Allah. My sis lay Almadasi, if I save you, Rabbi Gamliel, and we don't kill you, will you give me the next world? Make sure I get the next world. Amar Lehin. He said yes. Oh, question, how could he guarantee him the next world? Fine. But he agreed, Amar Le Ishtabele, he said, make a swear to me. Ishtabele, and he swore to him. Whole question, now we can do this also. So, like the master went Igra, he went up to the roof, Nafil, he caused himself to fall down and jump off, commit suicide, umeis, and he died. The Gemirim, we have a tradition. The Chigazru Gizir also, umeis chad minayu, mivatli, ligizir sayu. They had a tradition back then, which was when they made a decree and one of them died, they would immediately cancel the decree. They thought it was bad luck. It showed the decree wasn't good. Heavenly voice went out and said, that this person is prepared for the next world. Tana Rabbanon, we have a Bryce Mishacharza Bais Rishon when the first base of Mikdash was destroyed. Skabsu kisos kisos shel parchi kohuna. You had groups of young Kohanim that gathered together. Umaftechos hechel biyadin, and they had the keys to the hechel in their hand. Va'al lugag, they went to the roof. Va'hechel of the base of Mikdash v'amr lefonim, and they said, Rabbeinu Shalom, master of the world, holy v'ozachim liyois gizbarim. Now, Monim, since we did not merit to be trustworthy caretakers of the base of Mikdash, the keys should just go back to you. V'zarkom, klapim al, and then they tossed them above. V'yotza kein b'siyas yad, and then there was like a palm of a hand that stretched out from heaven. The kiblosan mehem, and it accepted it from them. Behim, kovsu. V'naflu tocha or, and then they jumped and they went right into the fire. The Haleim koinin Yeshayahu Hanavian, regarding them the prophet Yeshayahu laments and says, Mosag Yochezan Malach Hefo Ki Alisa Kulus Lagagos Teshuas Malaya Ir Humiha Kriyas Aliza Chalidicha Luchali Cherev Veloimati Machama. And even Hashem, says the Gemara, Kadosh Baruch Hu never Hashem, it says Makardaker, Kir V'Shavel Lahar, different types of wailing. One of the most commonly well-known Gemaras. Amar Rav Yehuda Bria de Rav Shmuel Bar Shilosh, Rav Yehuda the son of Rav Shmuel, the son of Shiloh, said, Mishmei the Rav in the name of Rav, Kashem Shemishem Nechnesab and Matim Besimcho, Kach Mishem Nechnesad and Mar Besimcha. Just like when Av comes in, we decrease our happiness. So too when Adar comes in, we increase our happiness. Rashi over here says, why when Adar comes do we increase our happiness? Because it's a time when miraculous events happen to the Jews. Purim and Pesach, whole discussion. Why then, according to this, do we not increase our happiness during the month of Nisan on Pesach? Only Adar, according to this Rashi. A lot of Torahs on this Gemara, hours and hours we could spend time of. This statement isn't quoted in Shulchan Aruch. Why not? Magen Avraham quotes it. What to say about this? Amar Rav Papa, says Rav Papa, every Jewish lawyer knows this. Hilkach, therefore, Baal Yisrael the Islay Dino, Bahadei Nachri, if you have a Jew who's having a court case with someone who isn't Jewish, L'shtamim Minei, should slip away from that case, Bav, during the month of Ab. D'roya Mazlei, because it's bad luck. You should try to have the court case during other Debriya Mazlei, because it's good luck. So once we quoted one statement from the Rav Yehuda Rabbi and the others, so now we're going to quote another statement from him based on this pasuk. You're going to give the future a good future and hope. Amar Rav Yehuda, B'riyad Rav Shmuel Bar Shiloh, Rav Yehuda said, Mishmei Rav in the name of Rav, Il Dekalim Plishton. These are talking about the Kalim and Plishton. Like a date tree, you get food from its sustenance, as Rashi explains. Kli Pishton is like flax. This is talking about the where it's going to be a good situation. Vayom Arei. V'reyach b'ni kireach asad Asher Baruch Hashem. Look at the smell, my son, the smell of the field that Hashem blessed with. Amr of Yehuda B'riyad Rav Shmuel. Bar Shilosh Mei Rav. They said in the name of Rav Kireach asad Shel Tapuchim, like the smell of the fields of apples. Shab Shchal Tisha B'av Liyos B'Soicher. Student L'Sabru. Oh, so before we continue. So this is actually an interesting Gemara over here because there's a Taisvus over here. Taisvus on the first Taisvus says that the idea is that we're talking about court cases. We were talking before about how good things happen to good people on good days, etc. And the inverse. Anyways, the second Taisvus says, "Shall tapuchim the apples yish mefarshim tapuchim kareach esroigim." Some say that the smell of apples is like the smell of esroigim, which is interesting. There's a lot of Torahs on this. There's a whole marsha on this. He goes into. We're not gonna. I mean, we could go into it, but this is where it comes from. That Adam Arishon, some say that he ate from an apple tree. According to no opinion in our Gemara, it was an apple tree or the Medrash. This is a different Gemara. It's a Gemara in Brachos, Medrash Rabbah. But some want to say, based on this Taisvus, that maybe because it smelled like a Esroigim, maybe there's some sort of similarity. There's a whole discussion. The Marsha over here has a whole calculation. He has a whole cheshbon over here, and he says maybe you could say an esrog based on a medrash that says that the smell of Gan Eden that went with Yaakov was from the clothing. This is special clothing who he got from Nimrod, and Esav then took it, and it had special hunting abilities. and he has a whole calculation over here about it, and he goes into it more. But anyways, interesting discussion of itself. Says the Gemara, "L'saper l'kabitz of Ramachel Moishana l'kabitz l'ilvoish aval l'kabitz l'aniach mutter." This is only talking about doing laundry and wearing the clothing you can't do during the week of when Tisha B'av is. However, if you're going to do laundry and leave it for later, for after Tisha B'av, that will in fact be permissible. Rav Sheish says even if you're going to do laundry and leave it for later, it is still nevertheless prohibited. That is according to Rav Sheshis. The reason is Dr. Rashi, Dafil Kabitz Laniach Asr, make that the previous Rashi. Afilu Lakabitzu Lahaniach, Rashi says again. Lo Yishana, there's only talking right. Okay, fine, we said that right. Afilu Lakabitzu Laniach, Rashi said Kadesh Yilbash Lacher Zaman Lacher Tishabav Aser. Why? The Nira Kimasiach Daiso Shoisik Bekibutz Begadim. It looks like you are diverting your mind from the period, the morning period, being because you're involved with laundry, because you're involved with laundry. Rashesha says that's why you can't even leave it for later. Amr of Shesha's Teda, I'll prove it to you about Teli Kitzri debate of the launderers in the house of Rav would stop doing laundry. So this is proof positive that you cannot do laundry during that week. We have an attacking statement of Rav Amanun and the Bachedz Bechamishu Matar Maker of Shabbos on Thursday. You're allowed to do laundry in honor of Shabbos. Ask the Gemara Lamai. What is this talking about? If we're talking about that you're going to do laundry and then just leave it there. Excuse me, and then wear it. And then wear it. How is that honor of Shabbos? Which means if you're just going to wear it, so it's going to get dirty by the time Shabbos comes around. So the Gemara says, you're right. Rather, it's talking about you're going to do laundry, but they'll leave it there. B'chamishu d'shari, specifically on Thursday, will be permissible. However, Shabbos kul also, but the rest of the week, it will in fact be prohibited. This is going to be a question on Rav Nachman, who said that it will in fact be permissible to leave it, because we see that the heter, the way that it's permissible, is specifically, exclusively on Thursday. However, the rest of the week, it's going to be a problem. So that is going to be a question on Rav Nachman. The Gemara says, "Li oilam, really, I'll tell you, lekabetz v'lo. We're talking about that you're going to do laundry and wear it. Ukeshe'ein lo elechalak echad. But we're talking about that you only have one garment over here, which means it's just going to be on Thursday. That's when it's permissible to do laundry and to wear it. And that is talking about if you're going to wear it. If you're going to leave it, that's, I'll tell you, even permissible the entire like of Nachman. But on Thursday, when we allow you to do laundry and wear it, the idea over here is that's only if you have one garment. The Amar Ravasi, Amar Yochanan, because he said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, someone who only has one garment is allowed to do even the laundry on Chol HaMoed itself. Itamanami. We have a statement also about this by an Amoda. Rabbi Binyamin, Rabbi Eliezer. They said in the name of Rabbi Eliezer, Loshana Lakabitul Lilbo Shaval, and Yachmut is only talking about if you can do laundry and wear it. However, if you're going to do laundry and leave it, that's going to be permissible. Meisvei, we have attacking statement. Oh, it's Lakabitul Tisha B'av, you're not allowed to do laundry before Tisha B'av, feel and Yuchlat Tisha B'av, even if you're going to leave it for after Tisha B'av. That contradicts what we just said before. Our pressing is like their laundry. However, when it comes to flax garments, that is not a problem of pressing. Tiyuvta, we have a knockout statement, both from Rav Nachman and Rabbi Eliezer. Shalach Rabbi Yitzchak bar Guya, Mishmei Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yitzchak, the son of Guya, said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Alpha Pisham Kli Pisham Mishum Giyutz. Even though we said that the flax is no problem of the pressing, and also a little bit of Shabbos, but nevertheless, it is prohibited to wear it on Shabbos. The Tisha B'av falls out during that week. You're not allowed to wear it. Amar Rav comes along and says, Lo shano elefanav. This is only talking about beforehand. This that we're saying that it's prohibited to wear it during the week that Tisha B'av falls out on. That's only talking about before. But after it's going to be permissible. For example, explains Rashi. Let's say Tisha B'av is on Wednesday. So now you're not allowed to wear it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. However, after Wednesday, after Tisha B'av, on Thursday and on, that would be permissible to wear it. Some take out Shvi and Rashi. It's a whole discussion of itself. Shmuel says, even afterwards going to be prohibited. Ask the Gemara on this opinion of Rabbi of Shmuel. Basically, we have an attacking statement from the Brisa. Let's say you have a week that Tisha B'av falls out on. It's prohibited to get a haircut and to do laundry. However, on Thursday it's permissible because of honor of Shabbos, case it houses. So, Chal Yosef b'Shabbos mutar l'kabed, Kol Shabbos kula if it falls out. On Sunday, it's permissible to do laundry the entire week. B'sheni u'b'shlishi v'raviu b'chamishi l'fanav aser lachor mutar. However, if it's going to be on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday or Thursday, beforehand you're not allowed to do laundry. Afterwards, you're allowed to do laundry. That obviously argues on Shmuel. How is Shmuel going to answer that? Shmuel said that it was prohibited. Bryce continues. Chalio, it's Erev Shabbos Tif Shabbat falls out on Erev Shabbos Mutal Kabitz B'Chamishim. Make out of Shabbos, you'll have to do laundry on Thursday in honor of Shabbos. B'Mo Kibitz B'Chamish if you didn't do the laundry on Thursday. B'Shabbos Mutal Kabitz B'Erev Shabbos, you're even allowed to do laundry on Friday, on the eve of Shabbos. Min ha-minchu la from the time of mincha and onwards. The Gemara now pauses from continuing to quote the Brisa and says parenthetically, you should know, Light Allah Abaya would curse someone, Vitamar and some Smei, that it was Ravacha Bar Yaakov Aha, someone who did such a thing, who did laundry when Tisha B'Av fell out, in this case that they would do the laundry on the eve of Shabbos. So he would curse someone that would do that. Tisha B'Av fell out. Price continues. Tisha B'Av falls out on Monday or Thursday. Card Shloisha. They would have three aliyahs, three different aliyahs for the Torah. Umafter echad. They would do mafter on one of them. Shlishi Ravi. Card echad umafter be'echad. When it comes to if Tisha B'Av fell out on Tuesday or Wednesday, so then they would just do one, and they would do maftir on another one. Meaning the person who would get the aliyah, he himself would do the maftir. That's what that means. Rabbi Yosi said, no, you always have three, and you do the maftir as well. It's a question on Shmuel. The Gemara says you're right. You have to do Shmuel. It's a knockout on Shmuel. The Gemara says no. Amar l'cha Shmuel. Shmuel will say Tanahi. This is really in fact subject to a machlokas among the Tanaim, an argument with the Tanaim. Tanya, we have a rise. Tisha B'Av falls out during the week, v'chein erev Tisha B'Av shechal liyois b'Shabbos, or if if Tisha B'Av falls out on Shabbos, or if Tisha B'Av falls out on if Erev Tisha B'Av falls out on Shabbos, right before Tisha B'Av, oichel v'shoysa, kol sarcha, you eat, drink whatever you need to. Mala shulchano afilu kizol shel shloimo b'shaisa, and you put on your table as much food, even if Shlomo Melech had on his table, Shlomo the king. You're not allowed to get a haircut and do laundry from Rosh Chodesh till the fast of Rabbi. This according to Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda says the entire month is going to be prohibited. Rabbi Shimon says it's only going to be prohibited that Shabbos itself. Another verse says that you should accustom yourself from Rosh Chodesh until the fast with the morning. Mirosh Chodesh v'ad Taanis. Rabbi Yehuda Oimer Kol Chodesh Kula the entire month. Shimon Gamliel Oimer Eino Aser Elo Oiser Shabbos Bilvad. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says just that week is prohibited. Rabbi Yochanan says V'shloshim Migrach Darshu. They all darshan. They all expound on one pasuk. If the dichs of the pasuk says V'hashbisi, I'm going to cause to stop. So all joy Chag Chadash V'Shabbos from the holiday, from the month, and on Shabbos. Ma'adam Rosh Chodesh Taanis, the opinion who says from Rosh Chodesh until the fast. That's going to be Rabbi Meir Mechago. He's going to learn out from the word Mechago from the holiday. Ma'adam called the Chodesh Kulo Aser Mechadosho, and the one who says that the entire month is going to be prohibited. Rabbi Yehuda, so he learns it out from Chadash in the pasuk from when it says Ma'adam Kol Shabbos Kulo Aser Mishabas, and the opinion who says that the entire week is going to be prohibited. He learns it out from the word Shabbos, aka that's going to be the opinion of Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Rav says Allah is actually in accordance with Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Amar Rav Rabbi Meir. Rav says Allah is like Rabbi Meir. Both are going to be lenient. Like the leniencies in Valvasricha, you need both statements. The Yashmin Allah if you would have just said Allah is like Rabbi Meir, Havamina, I would have thought I feel Rosh Chodeshim from Rosh Chodesh is going to be prohibited. Kamashman. That's why we need to say Allah is Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Now Allah is like Rabbi Shimon Gamliel to say that from Rosh Chodesh will not be a problem. The Yashmin, if you would have said Allah is Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, Allah is like Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, Havamina, I would have thought feel Lacharav even afterwards going to be prohibited. Kamashman. That's why it comes to teach Allah is Rabbi Meir. Allah is like Rabbi Meir that afterwards would in fact be permissible. I taste this over here on Chavtes Amid Beis, second to bottom one. It says for women doing laundry for kids' clothing, you got to do that because a lot of times they only have one garment, especially if it's soiled, it's allowed. He goes into that more. Okay, next session, last half.